My man, Jacob, thank you so much for coming on the Winners Paradigm podcast, brother. It's an honor because it took a little bit of time to make it happen, but I really appreciate you for being flexible. You're an amazing fucking dude, brother. And it's awesome
Appreciate
that
you.
we're able to chop it up today. So, first off, before I get ahead of myself, brother, brief intro, who you are, what you're passionate about today, my friend.
I'm Jacob Smith. From Oceanside, California, born and raised, third generation on my pops' side. Very passionate about fitness. I'm very passionate about being a coach. I mean, I've came through a lot in my life. I've endured a lot, been through a lot, very unfortunate circumstances, but I found that through those hardships and through those challenges, they really made me who I am today. And it's just perspective. So I feel like if I can use my story and to the situations and the circumstances that I've been able to overcome, that I can help others in life, because it's what we go through is what we grow through. And if we change our perspective and we go into life with the mindset and the perspective of, it's the battles, it's the challenges, it's the adversity that we can embrace to find out what we're capable of, that when we get to the other side and we find that light, that we're actually better individuals for it. But it's just the way we look at it, it's the way we view it. So it can either cripple us or it can fortify us. But our perspective's everything, our mentality is everything. And when it comes to fitness, the reason why I've really kind of used this as a platform on social media at jacob.smith.fit, and really kind of putting that out there as the forefront, because I believe it's the foundation and the cornerstone. It's taking pride in who you are. And how are you ever going to be able to take pride and feel comfortable in who you are as an individual if you're not your greatest self? If you're not comfortable in your own skin, more than likely you're lacking the confidence that you need to be able to persevere and have that mindset and that resiliency to help you get through those hard times. So, with the discipline, with the habits, with the mentality and the mindset, obviously fitness is the cornerstone, is the anchor.
Boom, brother. I feel like you just dropped bombs right there. It's funny because I'm always talking alignment and I'm talking about when you get yourself straight, everything else is gonna follow. So really fucking funny that you're talking about getting fitness, getting everything dialed in because everything else is gonna reap the harvest from it. But also too, you're talking about that pain that everything happened for you, not to you. I was at a mastermind the other day, and one of the things that popped up for me, they were like going to me and they're like, "Hey, this is what you can work on."
Yes.
I used to let people get to me a lot worse because of circumstance, and that was my thing. It's like you didn't struggle as much as I did. I went to the Marine Corps, became my own boss at 19. Life was happening, to me because I was making shit happen. And
Yes.
basically, the reason why that conversation came up was I was saying I have a bunch of physical ailments to where my knees are shot, my back's fucking done, but I'm still in the gym every day. It's hard for me, so that's where I'm looking at regulating that switch is like how to talk to everybody.
Hmm.
Honestly, I just like screaming at fucking people because I feel like sometimes people need it, and that's where it
Right.
was. Is like, hey, losing clients because one day it's, hey, this is what they want to hear. The next day, it's
Hmm.
offending their fucking feelings. And it was
Hmm.
funny because that was the same thing, where they're like, hey, you need to forgive a little bit, channel that power, and then understand like everything happened for a reason. For me, it's like, nah, my old outlook was, hey, you don't fucking get it. You haven't been there. That's why it's not fucking clicking. Like, what
Hmm.
do you fucking do? And it's like, hey, that was bad energy to just come to life with. So I love the way that you accepted it, move forward, and then you spoke on that. Can you touch on the power behind it to where we're able to talk on that deep rooted pain to where we can break, the generational curses, the limiting beliefs? Because I know for you as well, brother, when you were getting started, I know there was probably a little bit you were working on where you're like, man, I thought I had this in gear, but I
Right.
have to focus on this first.
Of course, of course. I mean, look, with trauma, and with hardships comes a lot of resiliency, comes a lot of, strong suits. You get a lot of good core ethic value out of going through hardships because you become stronger for going through them and growing through them. But you also carry some of that trauma with you, right? So there's pros and there's cons. But it's when you truly, truly identify those triggers, those traumas that you've experienced in your lifetime that were hard, that were setting or holding you back without you even realizing them, by truly looking at yourself in the mirror, identifying those flaws and working on them, critiquing them day over day. and not allowing for yourself to be a product of your environment. Growing up, I came from an environment where it was, low poverty, welfare. We didn't have food, growing up hungry, growing up deprived of resources, broken home, scared most of my life. And then because of that lack of what I was looking for in my home, I went out and got it in other areas that weren't always the greatest, right? Because at the time, I wanted to be accepted. I was seeking validation in others. And when I was doing that, it didn't matter what I was doing, as long as I got that validation, whether it was good or bad, I was going to seek it in any way I could to be accepted and tolerated, and better yet, embraced by the individuals around me, because I wasn't getting it from where I needed to get it, which was from home, right? But once I opened my eyes and I had a couple, moments of reckoning, I would say, where it was either, you're at that fork of the road, right? It's either you're going left or you're going right. And I was right there, 1 foot to the left, 1 foot to the right. And that's how you get picked off, because you're on the fence. You never want to be there. And I knew I had to make a decision. It was either I was going to commit to a life of destruction, pain, and I was going to become a victim, or I was going to turn the opposite direction. I was going to be a victor. I was going to make the most of my circumstances, flip the narrative, and say, you know what, I'm not going to be a product of my environment. I'm going to rewrite this narrative, and I'm going to make the most out of my circumstances. I'm going to turn all these negatives into positives. All of these challenges and trials and tribulations that I've been through, I can use them. And all this negative emotion is the fuel that's going to push me forward. And so every day, all the doubt, not just the doubt that I had in myself, the self doubt, but the doubt that others had on me as well. Because let's be honest, I gave them every reason to doubt me. And once I decided that I was going to prove all of the naysayers wrong, and I was going to prove myself right by showing what I was capable of, by being the best at not being that, let's say, negative person, but yet a positive person, and taking that same energy and using it in a constructive way, I was able to make the impact. And I was able to, come from a circumstance and situation was extremely unfavorable, and define the odds and put myself in a situation where now I'm a VP of multiple companies, an executive with no college degree, barely graduated high school, grew up in the streets, grew up with violence, and was able to, do a lot with my life. I got, 2 kids. I got a third on the way. I'm married. I got a beautiful wife, a beautiful family. I'm a sole provider in Southern California, and I'm able to do what I need to do and handle what I need to handle, because I made no excuses. I made moves, and I didn't fall victim to the society's narrative of, you're a product of your environment.
Man, you hit it on the money. So many areas, and I love that. I think that's where, the power is you figuring out for yourself, hey, this is where I need to go. And I think that's what's the funniest thing, is we hire the coaches, we hire everything externally. We think that that's what's going to heal internal. But at the
Hmm.
same time, that's why we fucking fell into the vices, like you said, because we went externally before looking at what we have to do. And also, you also mentioned it, you have to choose what you want to do when you're taking
Hmm.
that action. You could say
Hmm.
you're going to take action all you want, but it's going to take you to start doing something. That hit me the other day. I was talking to a buddy, and guys all over the place sometimes. If he's going to try this, he's going to try the macro somebody else gave him. And I was like, bro, I don't give a fuck what you want to do. And he's like, what? And I'm like, just pick one thing and stick to it. Like,
Right.
that's what the results are going to come from. It's not about you not doing it. It's just being everywhere, looking at all the options versus keeping it down to that path. You also
Hmm.
talked about something that I talk about all the time, brother, which is that foundation of making sure we create that perfect day, we show up as best way we can,
Yep.
regardless of circumstance. Could you touch on that a little bit of what that foundation's like, to where every single day you're focused on that same core mission, brother?
It's discipline over motivation, right? I mean, look, motivation will get you started, discipline will keep you going. And so when it comes to discipline, when that alarm clock goes off, I get up at the same time every morning, Monday through Sunday. It doesn't matter. I will not break character. My routine stays the same. My regimen stay the same, because it keeps me in alignment with my purpose. It keeps me in alignment with my routines and with my day. I'm a firm believer, if you win the morning, you win the day. So when that alarm clock goes off at 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, it doesn't matter if I slept 6 hours. It doesn't matter if I slept 2 hours. Hell, it doesn't matter if I slept 1 hour. I will get up and I will get done what I said I was going to get done, because I'm honoring my word. And that win that I stacked at that given moment by conquering that inner voice that was telling me maybe that, you know what, you deserve that sleep. You deserve that extra couple hours because your body needs it. And by overcoming those feelings and staying true to my disciplines, there's a lot of strength that comes from that. And then when you conquer that, then you go into the gym, you get that workout in, you conquer that workout. Now you're out of the gym, the sun's not even up yet. You've already conquered the morning. You're starting with that momentum and that intensity, and then you're going home and you're making breakfast for your family. They're not even awake yet. They come out. You're able to spend some quality time with the kids and with the wife. You're not stressed and pressed with time because you conquered the morning, because you conquered your feelings and emotions, right? Because you were stronger than the motivations, because you had the disciplines in place. And then you're able to take that momentum into the remainder of your day, your business. Because let's be honest, everybody likes to give the excuses that they don't have time. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you're not prioritizing your time. And so if you were to
Oh,
prioritize your time by prioritizing yourself, more than likely you're able to prioritize the people that you care about the most. See, the alternative is that you don't prioritize your time. You let the day run you, you don't run the day. And what ends up happening, you become disgruntled. You become very agitated and frustrated because you feel like you're only living for everybody else. And so then, although you think you're giving them you, you're not giving them you. You're giving them a half cocked version that's disgruntled, agitated, and pissed off, because I've been there. We've all been there. We can all relate. But if you just were to get up earlier, take care of filling yourself up, doing whatever you needed to do to be the best version you could be, so in return you could be the best version for the people you care about that you say you do it for, well, guess what? It's a win-win situation. Everybody has time. You just got to make the time. There's no excuse, and you just got to commit.
boom, brother. You hit it on the money, and it's funny as I was talking to my wife on the same thing. We're gonna go visit family, and I was like, we're gonna get up early because we're doing our kid's birthday party. And I did the same thing. I was like, I'll be up at 2:30. I'm gonna get this 400 squats in, 400
There you go.
burpees, 400 fucking deadlifts. I'm getting a
Hmm.
workout in. So I did that, and then I was talking about how much better I felt after.
Hmm.
And I was like, two, I don't have the capacity. If I don't work out, I don't have that capacity to be a
That's
better
right.
dad, be a better husband. Just tolerating people and being around them is fucking irritating because you hear
Mhm.
all this negativity or they're like, I can do it, but it's gonna be hard. And then it's like, nah, motherfucker, So for me, it makes me flip because I had to reverse all that shit. I had to make sure that every time it was difficult, I didn't step into that. So I was explaining how the workout set up the whole fucking day for me because then I was able to be at that capacity to talk in that different
Right.
energy versus just wanting to scream at everybody the whole fucking day. And it
Right.
was funny because again, that taught me something about myself of, hey, that routine of what works is proven. And I
Hmm.
think that's another power, is if you
Right.
know what's proven, then why are you doing anything else? Because a lot of times people want to take all that extra advice, whatever else. So appreciate you there, brother. That was amazing. I know that's something that resonates with me deeply is talking about that foundation because that's where I'm always like, hey, doesn't matter, regardless, this is who you are. When it
Right.
comes to being more present, brother, being a better father, husband, what do you recommend for that guy that's struggling right there, not really understanding their time management or how they're showing up?
We talked about time management, right? There's always a way to create the time. It's just what's important and how you prioritize your time. As far as being present, now I struggled with being present for a very long time. I was checking all the boxes. I was going through the motions. I was physically there, but the problem was that I was mentally not there. So I was like a walking shell. So I was there for my kids. I was there for my wife. I was there for my career. I was there for everybody and everything. The problem is I wasn't physically there, or I'm sorry, I was physically there but I wasn't mentally there. And what ended up happening is I started feeling like I was lost, and I was just kind of in a lackadaisical state, and I wasn't being able to capture the memories and the essence of the time. Because let's be honest, time is the greatest currency. Time is money, and the time that we have with our kids, with our loved ones, that's what we do this for, right? Everything we do is for the people we care about, and to make sure that they have the greatest life that we can provide them with by being our greatest self, so that way we can lead by example, so on and so forth. So when
Mm,
I realized that I was doing everything right, but I wasn't doing the right things, I noticed that I needed to circle back and really start to identify why I was finding myself not being emotionally present, not being mentally present. And so I started to focus in on filling myself up. So to circle back to what we talked about, once I had identified that I was doing everything right, but again, I wasn't doing the right things, I circled into making sure that my cup was full. And the only way I could fill myself up was by getting up earlier, getting a workout in, making sure that I was reading, right? I was connecting with my mind, I was connecting with my spirit, and I was able to then in return connect with my family, connect with my loved ones, connect with my peers, connect with my coworkers. And it made my life 100 times better when I started to really invest in myself. So in return, I can invest in the people around me.
Man, incredible, brother. With you just saying that, and also it speaks in who you are, what you're doing. You just went to a mastermind as well.
Yeah.
Looked like it was pretty fucking badass, and you surround yourself with great people. What's the power of being around those high energy rooms and then being around those masterminds that really get you back on track with that game plan?
Wow. I mean, that was an experience. So I was at Zune and Ace's mastermind in UTC La Jolla. I spent 4 days with them. I mean, it was, we had Chuck Liddell there. We had, Chuck's the man. And we had, a bunch of just high hitters. I mean, Jacob that runs the gym. So all the TGs, he's the
Mhm.
co-founder. So Jacob Lewis was there. Anthony, that's we're going to be running another mastermind, Conquer Spirit. I don't know if you heard of him. He's another great, solid individual, but just high caliber people. You're around these people that are entrepreneurs, people that think bigger, that have this vision. And what you realize is that they don't look at life like a lot of us do, right? Where we're just checking again the boxes. We're going through life in this mundane approach of just I clock into my job, I clock out of my job, I go home, I eat, I watch TV, I go to sleep, I repeat, right? These guys don't think like that. They're thinking so much bigger. And when you're around that energy and you see and feel it, because it's not even a matter of what they say, you can feel the energy, the way they operate, the way they move, the way they communicate, the way they hold themselves, right? They carry themselves. It's so different. It rubs off on you. And you realize that your network is your net worth, right? And so the people that you surround yourself with it's gonna have a real big impact on your life. And that's why, it's very important that you surround yourself with like-minded people, or better yet, people that you aspire to be, because the only way you're truly gonna grow is if you surround yourself with the people that are gonna help you get there, that are gonna support and advocate for you, but also where you can embody their traits enough until you're strong enough to possess it on your own.
Man, again, I'm talking about that energy, alignment, and working on yourself. I literally just did a fucking live about that last week where I was like, I'd rather be fucking alone than be around people who don't fucking get it.
Right.
Because people don't understand that. They think that they can have it at their capacity. And it's funny because I keep talking about it time after time. It's the same shit. It's like people think that they can do whatever they want on their terms. And that's not the way fucking life works. So that's where I said, particular was like, yeah, I'd rather be alone, not have anybody around me if I'm not gonna have those people who are all fucking in, and also sticking to their word, because there's so much shit online where they look good, they say the right thing, they present it correctly, and then
Right.
behind closed doors, they're a whole nother fucking way. They act a different way, and it's like I can't be that dude because I was that dude, and my wife was gonna leave, shit was
Right.
going south. So I don't let any of that shit happen. And people are always saying, "Oh, you're judgmental. You don't like anybody." I'm like, bro, it's not that I don't like anybody. I hold myself to higher fucking standards,
That's right.
and I just don't tolerate to be around the bullshit or around the person who has the clarity, but again, doesn't want to take action upon it.
Absolutely. Inky Johnson, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a public
Mm.
speaker. Obviously has a crazy testimony. He went through a lot of adversity. I got a lot of respect for the guy. But one of the things that he says is, try your best not to be a public success and a private failure. And that really resonates with me because a lot of us go so hard in one area and aspect of our life, and then we leave nothing in return for the other areas that matter, right? And we talked about that in the beginning. How can I be the best boss, but also be the best husband? How can I be the
Mhm.
best father? How can I be the best friend? How can I be the best human being? And so checking all of those boxes and giving everything all of what you are and who you are is so damn important. It's the character and it's the integrity that's going to carry you through, right? It's the alignment. Like you said, it's the jelly bean method. So it's like, okay, you're hard on the outside, but you're soft on the inside. You're putting on this facade that you're something that you're not because you're not truly living in alignment, and you're not giving every aspect of your life everything you got. And so until you start to tap into realizing that, yeah, the job's not finished. It's never finished. There's always work to do. You can always do more. You can always be more. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop playing victim. Instead, say, you know what? I'm taking on this weight specifically as a man because that's my duty and that's my responsibility. And until you realize that life is no longer just about you, but better yet, it's about the people around you, you're never really going to truly find your purpose. See, the problem is that a lot of times people think that life is just about them. They're self-centered, they're self-absorbed. Those people tap out left and right. But when you make life about everyone else, when you're living a true life of purpose and everything and every day is centered around the people around you, protecting and preserving, fighting and standing up for those people, giving people hope, inspiring others to do more and to be more, saving someone's life through your story, through your testimony, the stories that we talk about daily, that is what this is all about. And that'll get you up. That'll keep you moving. So when life does punch you, take you out, knock you off your feet, you're going to pop right back up because, again, it's not about you. You're carrying it for everybody else. So you're not even thinking about you and how you feel at that given moment. You're thinking about everyone else that you're doing it for. So that's what I always try to tell people. It's a lot bigger than just us, right? Everything we do needs to be for everyone else. And, that's our duty and that's our responsibility.
Boom. Man, hitting on the money again. And I resonate with that because one point that I'm learning right now is not everybody can handle the truth, and it's not the time to tell everybody the truth. Sometimes it's just us to smile and laugh a little bit. And it's funny now looking back on it because having those mentors when we're venting about our problems, when we're talking about something, and they're laughing because they went through the same thing. And then now when it's full circle on our terms to where we've been preaching it, but people need to see it for themselves. And then
Right.
they realize, like, hey, this shit's not working. These actions aren't leading me to it. I was talking to a client the other day, and he was saying what he's doing wasn't working, but it makes him feel good. And I was just like, hey, man, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure that out. And then he looked at me and he was just like, what? Like, no one's ever talked to me that way. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
because people are going to tell you what you want to hear. I was like, bro, I've done that. Like, his term, was, oh, I got laid. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. You got laid and we're validating that. But I was like, the grand scheme of things, like if that's the greatest thing that's happening right now, you have bigger fucking issues that we need to
Right.
address. And
Hmm.
the guy was just like, whoa, and I was like, hey, I just tell it how it is because I've
Hmm.
been there. And the last thing you need is this coach, that's going to validate your behavior and fucking get you to think that the shit that you're doing is okay. Where we've all came from a place of love. We've all been there, done that. And that's why we don't accept that bullshit. And it was
Right.
funny because, again, it went into that perspective. You see things differently when you're teaching it. So when you're able to start flipping that, it's like completely game changing.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with more than what you. I mean, look, transparency is key. You can't sugarcoat these individuals. They need it, and they need it direct. Don't beat around the bush. I mean, we call a spade a spade. Either they're going to take it if they're ready for that message and they're ready to change, then they're going to consume and digest and process what you say, and they're going to do something about it. If they're not, then fine. On to the next, because I have my method approach is this. I call it the upside down cup method. Either you're going to be flipped upside so I can pour into you, or you're upside down. If you're upside down, I'm not pouring into an upside down cup because it's just going to make a mess and it's a waste of time, right? But if you're ready, oh, I'm going to fill you up. And like I always say, it's hometown buffet, it's all you can eat. But you got to come with that appetite. And if you got that appetite, you're going to get those gains, right? So, but again, we have the resources. Whether or not you're going to utilize them is up to you. And the resources is the wisdom that we can provide through the trials and tribulations we've been through, that are going to suit you and set you up to be able to endure anything that comes your way. And we want to do our best to help these individuals because it worked for us, and we know for a fact it can work for them.
Amen, brother. You hit it on the money. Once again, this has been an amazing episode, brother. So I really appreciate you. I'll wrap it up with the last question here. What would you say to the previous version of ourselves? We don't know where to start. We just want to align ourselves with our definition of success.
Definition of success, I would say, is, being the best version of yourself. That's how I define success. So just striving to be better than you were the day prior, and to constantly understand that in life you're either progressing or you're regressing. There's no such thing as staying still. So as long as you're moving forward, it doesn't matter. Take those steps. They don't have to be at huge steps, as long as you're progressing and you're not regressing, because in life you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. So stay on the path of growth, constantly work on yourself so that way you can be the absolute best for the people that need you the most.
Bam. Again, brother, hitting it on fire. Where can people find you, man, if they want to keep up with you?
You can find me at jacob.smith.fit on Instagram. I obviously been posting things from, mindset, training, nutrition. That's what I provide on my coaching. I'm a life coach. It's not just about the fitness. No, I'm not just a fitness coach. I really put the emphasis, I emphasize on mindset, because mindset is everything when it comes to everything else. So yeah, that's where they can find me. And again, I'm here to help anybody that is struggling, and anybody that needs the assistance to obviously be able to endure anything that they're going through.
Boom. We'll send everybody your way, brother. Thank you again. I know definitely we'll do an in-person interview next time. So thank you again, my
Absolutely.
friend. It was an immense honor, brother.
All right. Appreciate you.